All right, guys, welcome to October 4th pre-recorded Zoom. Pretty much what we were talking about last week was whether we were going to, I believe, continue the internal structure or if we were going to convert. And by convert, I meant, have a bullish transition, which would be in alignment with, the swing low into high, into retracement, into turbulence point, potential reaction. So I'll probably clean this up a little bit, but first things first, I know we were around, I believe it was here, right? I believe it was September 30th, I believe, the last Zoom. Yes, September 30th, where we were pretty much anticipating and we were waiting to see whether or not an inefficiency fill would have occurred. However, the order flow was still bearish. And we know that we have an internal transition based on the internal liquidity grab, which would justify why this could still continue a bit lower. And the reason why we pointed this POI out was because we had an internal SC, a wick mitigating the SC, and that would be continuing the order flow. So very, very interesting. You can see that there was internal liquidity here, right? 1 high, 2 high, 3 high. That was not met. That then led to a continuation BOS plus order flow, right, into continuation. But that's not necessarily what I want to really point out today. What I really want to point out today, right, was, right, this inefficiency fill. This inefficiency fill is very, very important in my eyes. Why? Because this led into a continuation BOS here, right? And it's extremely convincing that that is a continuation BOS and it didn't just take the high and then reverse. That was a sign of not only continuation BOS, but a conversion slash reaction based on, right, this H1 POI. And this, right, is now showing us that we have structural disruption and this is a failed reaction, right? So going to go back to marking this up, right? Like we said, what's significant to note here is it actually didn't tap here. Okay, interesting. But this is also why I like having both of these now. This shows clearer candles in my opinion, and it shows volume, but it is a bit delayed in comparison to this. I believe it's like 10-minute delay. But either way, the bias is still the same. We have an internal reaction that then led to an internal conversion in the opposite direction, meaning we have a type of structural disruption here based on order flow here. So as of now, right, it's going to be very, very important to just pretty much be wary of what goes on, because yes, we have a turbulence point here, much bigger one than this. This is an actual pause. However, I can't necessarily say that itself is a POI. I don't necessarily see any convincing POI. I didn't see any this morning. So it's just going to be, interesting to see what will happen right here. Excuse me. However, because, right, we've taken our high and then we've taken out the preliminary structure point here. This is the last significant low before we went to the high. These are all just internal continuations. That has not been taken. And that signifies that we pretty much topped out, in my opinion, because this is going to be the first time we're seeing, right, a significant low be taken out. For example, significant low, significant low, significant low. None of those have been tested before. They've only continued higher. So it shows that, in my opinion, we are starting to stall in terms of the bullish bias, and we could start seeing decent to medium-sized retracements. As for how far we could go, it's going to be very complicated, because this has been extremely bullish for a very long time. As you can see, May of 2021, we've been technically bullish since then. However, if we are to break, right, the POI, then this is now a swing break of structure, in my opinion. This would be more so a major intraday BOS here, because this is the last low that led into the highs. and this is the last solidified low. So this is going to be, you know, very, very interesting, because this is not only a pretty deep correction that we have not gotten for, you know, quite a bit of time. It's been what, since it's been about a month now almost. So this is where we really want to see whether or not this is going to convert into a bullish sense, or if it's going to really collapse into the bearish sense. And either one is good, because if we get a bullish conversion that's convincing, then you're looking at a long-term move that will at least bring you back up to here. Right, obviously after this is taken out, this could be liquidity as fuel. And the only reason why I'm considering this is a counter POI, by that I mean something like that. The only reason why I'm even considering that is because of this break of structure, right? And this is technically the last point where we pushed up and then came down. So I could see this as liquidity leading into a potential counter POI, which would then reverse. Or even then, this could cause a decent, you know, conversion and just fly from there, right? Or scenario number 3 would be if we take out the POI. I don't necessarily see this occurring, at least not now. It is kind of reasonable, especially where we could be in a low high into retracement continuation, right? Because technically the bias is 100% still bullish. So we can really only assume that from the swing sense, because we are looking at 8-4 daily. However, trading this internally, you could see some really nice continuations. So yeah, as of now, I want to assume that we have topped out for a bit, especially because we've taken out an important level of structure, right? However, we still have to acknowledge that we are still bullish in every sense of the word, except, you know, your scalp and your minor intraday. So that leads us to AUDUSD. AUDUSD, this one's interesting, because the POI that we mentioned on Friday, oh, I must have deleted it. 1 second. I'm not sure if I deleted it, or was that EURUSD? I'm sorry, this is 1 minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, so we were pretty much talking about how we had the internal continuation BOS, but yes, we are still bearish. However, this internal is bullish and it is high momentum. So we were mentioning that if we were to take the blue line out, then we could see low momentum into a POI, which would give a reaction to the upside. And that is exactly what we got. The reaction completes here. It's completed there, and it seems like from the internal sense, right, we could start seeing something begin to convert. It looks like, right, we've tested our immediate structure high into low. That is technically liquidity grab, which would be, you know, in alignment with our swing bias, which is still bearish. Not only that, but just based on session today, we can see a mitigation there with a confirmed reaction. So in my opinion, right now, I am still kind of favoring that bearish bias. I don't necessarily see why this could come here and then come higher, unless we obviously see something like this, aka a bullish transition. However, I am still really more so lenient towards that bearish bias here, especially with the fact that we have high number 1, 2, and 3 all have just been taken out, and then we have a violent move in the opposite direction. So this, in my opinion, is showing that the narrative is still bearish, and that the intent was that we were to take out liquidity in order to continue lower. So as of now, I am still 100% bearish on this, and I do see this kind of collapsing, if I'm being honest. I don't see this going up much higher, right? That would only be invalidated if our POI is to be taken out, then that's order flow disruption. But yeah, this one 100% still bearish. EURUSD, I believe we were mentioning the continuation sense here as well, seeing what could happen internally from the reaction of the 2-hour POI. and that had 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, 4 tap within 1 POI, and then there really wasn't anything convincing. I believe there was like an M30. Yeah, there was like an M30 inefficiency right here, and then you did have a conversion internally. Yeah, so not really the prettiest, but this does confirm a reaction, and by that, reaction is only being confirmed with the continuation BOS. So even though we have technically weak order flow because we are failing to create a new move even with multiple reactions, this failed reaction has kind of propelled us higher, and it's the reason why I think this one looks much more bullish than AU looks bearish. This one is extremely bullish in the moment just because of that conversion. And as for how far we can go, that's where it gets interesting, because this is exploding up and this has been extremely overdue. However, I don't think this will just fly. I do think we will see more opportunities, but we might not necessarily see, you know, any type of deep retracement here. I don't see that happening just yet. But we are reaching a very significant area here, where you see inefficiency fill and a previous move to the downside. However, I don't see this creating a brand new low. And the only reason why I don't see that is because we are seeing this move come in with high momentum, right? And you could see that we've already attempted to go lower here. Same thing with DXY, and that's why I'm also open to the fact that DXY could keep going lower. Is because this already failed to transition towards the bearish side. So because that has happened and it has failed, and we now have a bullish move, it's kind of hard to justify a bearish scenario from the short to medium term. So as of now, I do think this will continue a bit higher, which is a bit, you know, counter biased against AU, I'm sorry. But the only thing that AU has going for it is the fact that the POI took out structure, and that is continuation BOS. However, the only way we are bullish in AU is if this POI is taken out. Let's say we are to retrace a bit deeper and then the POI is to be taken out, then in my opinion, that is when you can be conservatively bullish. So yeah, that covers those two. Gold, I forgot who it was that showed me their gold entry from here, and as you can see, that bias is playing out very nicely, because I believe it was, I forgot what time frame it was. Yeah, where we saw a potential weekly POI, and then you could even see the wick here on the candle next to it where that reaction is coming from. And this is interesting as well because, one, liquidity has already been taken, a POI has been met, we had the transition internally, so it looks like this could start to give us some really good opportunities towards the upside. I don't see this, you know, breaking, I don't see this breaking down here anymore. That would be, in my opinion, my bullish invalidation here. Yeah, bullish invalidation. Right, so as of now, this is extremely bullish, much more bullish than EU and AU, and I don't see this stopping anytime soon. I do see this, you know, moving forward for at least, you know, a couple of weeks. Just because we have a POI, we have the reaction, we have the BOS to confirm that reaction from a major intraday sense, right? And you're seeing this from a weekly and a daily be, you know, extremely big of a move. You're seeing strong momentum here, especially if we close anything like this on Friday. I will, you know, lean towards that bullish scenario. But yeah, the only thing definitely stopping this now would technically be that wick. So depending on where we are on Friday will dictate, you know, the bias. But in my opinion, I think this is looking bullish. This one honestly has not really changed much. We have seen a type of recovery here. Let me actually add US30. Here we go. We can see, we already know what our bias was based on, I believe I showed you guys on Friday, where we could potentially be anticipating maybe even a sweep of a low before we start seeing much more higher pricing, just based on previous moves that I've seen. However, as of now, the bias has not really changed, where we're still trying to play based on, one second, we're still making plays based on structural disruption, and this upside move is only a retracement towards the downside. But in terms of relative points of interest, first one that pops up is the continuation of order flow here. That's one, and then after that I would probably see this coming into a deeper retracement up here. But yeah, let's definitely wait and see what happens here. Right, if we are to convert here, then that would be based on high, low, right, into retracement, and then continuation to the downside. That would be what is ideal in my opinion. But yeah, a bit of a longer one for today, but I will see you guys on Friday, and let's see if anything can happen here. As of now, it looks like this just popped up as well right now. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what happens here, and I will see you guys on Friday.